phenomenon known as sleep paralysis.
The good doctor here thinks he can give it to us.
You're going to hypnotize us?
Let's begin. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Wake up!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2022 horror film Conjuring The Beyond, a film that is written and directed by Calvin Murray McCarthy, and it stars Victoria Grace Borello, Steve Larkin, John Megison, Eric Skyback and Stephanie Leet. Now the film follows a group of individuals who go to essentially a research centre. They are invited to take part in a sleep study of sorts, a study that is examining sleep paralysis and all this kind of stuff. And they've all been specifically chosen to take part in this study, mainly because none of them suffer from sleep paralysis. And this Dr. Richard Pretoria or something like that, he wants to kind of introduce them to sleep paralysis, hypnotize them and try and open the door and then study what happens. With this being a horror film, as you could imagine, things don't go according to plan. Right, what are my thoughts on Conjuring the Beyond? Well, the first thing I want to address is the title. Conjuring. As soon as you hear Conjuring in a title, you immediately think the Conjuring universe. And, I don't think it's a coincidence why Conjuring is in the title. Does it need to be in the title? No. The only reason it's there is to try and garner some interest from horror fans in some degree. It's the same reason they use like Amityville in titles and things like that. It's a title that you can use without getting copyrighted and sued and all kinds of things. And it's just a cheap way of kind of gaining interest on your movie, I suppose. Does this film have any connection at all to the Conjuring universe? What do you think? Absolutely not. The title immediately almost puts you on the defensive when you're watching this as a film fan, critic, whatever, because you kind of know why it's been done. Beyond that, what we get here is a low-budget film. Some of that is really evident, and some of it, it hides reasonably well. There are some decent performances here by some of the characters, if not all of them. Some are pretty good at what they do in the line delivery, and you're pretty engaging when they're having conversations, and they're fairly skilled as actors. And there are others that, not so much, shall we say. So it's a bit of a mixed bag in regards to performances, but I've certainly seen a hell of a lot worse. In regards to production values, while it's low budget, the set design's decent. It feels like a hospital stroke research centre, or I think it's explained in the film it's like an extension of it used to be a school, and so the location is fine. The sound design's decent, if a little bit patchy. Some of the sounds a little bit off, certainly earlier on in the film, but it does settle, I think. So there's nothing when you watch this where you kind of think, oh no, that the sound's not really tinny, and it's not really cheap sets or anything like that. So yeah, it does kind of have some believability factor in that kind of stuff. Beyond that, really, what we get here, it's a sleep paralysis horror film. It's a trope that is being overused now in horror films, I think. And I've said this before, I have reviewed quite a few sleep paralysis type films on this channel. I've even reviewed a documentary on the subject, and it's a fascinating subject. I used to know someone that suffered with it. But I just don't think they've managed to deliver what I would describe as a truly effective and scary sleep paralysis film, and this one's no exception. I think the problem that this film has is it's too long, which sounds weird when you consider it's only an hour and a half long, just a little bit longer, I think. It feels too long because 45 minutes into this film, nothing happens of interest, really. It's just an introduction of characters that are taking part in this study, and these deep, uninteresting conversations, almost philosophizing with each other about this, that, and the other, and it's just odd conversations that aren't interesting at all. It's like when you watch a Quentin Tarantino film and they have these seemingly ordinary conversations around tables. Those are so well written, you're kind of into them. This isn't like that at all. So yeah, essentially this film falls into a pattern. After that first 45 minutes, 50 minutes of nothing happening and lots of conversations and setup, it kind of goes into a pattern. So you get lots of discussions, a sleep paralysis scene, and then someone goes missing or something happens at the end of that sleep paralysis scene, and that's the pattern then till the end of the movie. It doesn't really explain itself, how these people after one hypnotizing session can suddenly just click into the sleep paralysis stuff. It doesn't make a lot of sense. There's a scene where this doctor who is studying them kind of puts them under for the first time. They suffer this experience while they're hypnotized. They wake up. They give this doctor a brief description of what they've just experienced. I mean, very brief. It's more shock than anything. And then he basically ushers them away so that he can make his notes. And I'm thinking, well, what are you making your notes on? You've not even asked any deep questions. It's odd. So it doesn't offer anything new. If you're hoping for something new in regards to sleep paralysis and that type of movie, nothing. You've got the usual trope here. You've got the hag, that you see all the time in these sleep paralysis films. And then, like I say, the pattern, sleep paralysis scene, someone goes missing, few discussions, sleep paralysis scene, someone goes missing. And it's the usual thing. You get that typical scene as well where they're watching someone who's sleeping, and the moment one of them goes out to get some coffee, the other one falls asleep briefly, and then boom, it all happens. It's like, oh, how many times have we seen that in these types of movies? It's tired trope now. Don't leave someone alone. But, so I was about to say this is a difficult one to score. It's not really, actually. It's a 3 out of 10, essentially. And that's because it just does nothing new. Not a lot happens, and it's just not scary. But there was potential here. I will give it that. But I always think there's potential with sleep paralysis films. I just think they always generally fail to deliver. There's been a couple of reasonably effective ones. Fortunately, this one just isn't one of them. So yeah, that's my review for Conjuring The Beyond, a sleep paralysis film that you'll probably want to miss. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.